welcome to Jim's Garage Toys. I'm going to do something a little different today, and I've had a lot of requests for me to kind of go through and talk about some of my different vehicles and what I've done to them over the years. So I thought I would go ahead and start to do that today. I just kind of had a nice day today. I just got back from a little drive in my 2009 Corolla S Turbo. So I got out there, rode the gears a little bit, and let's just listen to a little bit of fun turbo music there. So, but anyway, coming back, I thought, hey, why don't I go ahead and do this? I've had a lot of people request it. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the car and talk about different things I've done over the years and give you guys a little bit closer perspective of it. So if you have any questions or anything like that about anything I've done or anything I talk about that I'm planning on doing, feel free to holler. And we'll get started. So this is my baby as she sits now. So I will, I think I plan on just kind of going through one area at a time. I'll kind of try to cover the engine and the suspension, things I've done interior wise, and see how that goes. So let me go ahead and pop the hood and I will start to explain things from that perspective. So we'll start under the hood here. This is a 2ZR FE, obviously. My wife made the decals for me, just a nice little touch. So I had the engine cover hydro dipped in carbon fiber, and then I painted the raised portion of it in red. So I used some red plastic coat paint, spray paint that was designed for plastic, and I painted the two fuse box covers. So this is a Trd front strut brace that was added in. So down here you can see the horn upgrade. So there's one right there, and there's the other one. So got the dual helo horns or hella horns. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So because of the light, it's hard to see it through the grill. But the big upgrade, obviously, under my hood is the Turbokit. So I got the Turbokit from turbokits.com. They have designed the kit specifically for the 2ZR. Originally, it was set up for the 10th generation from 2009 to 2013. So it will fit any other 2ZR also. You might have to adjust the intercooler piping a little bit for the 11th gen because the nose is a little bit longer, but other than that it will fit just fine. So the downside to this is you can't really see the turbo because it's tucked behind. The exhaust is on the back side of the engine, which makes it nice because it just drops in the down pipe and goes down. I did have the turbo, the down pipe, and I had both those ceramic coated for heat retention. So, and the exhaust manifold had all that done, so it would retain the heat and scavenge better. I wish you could see it. I did do, this was optional, you can mount the air filter directly onto the turbo, but then it's kind of tucked back in there. I'd have to get to it from underneath the car to clean it. So I ended up getting the 3-inch pipe that extends from the turbo and comes up from under here and then brings the air filter to this point. So easier for me to pop on and off. So I'll pop this off real quick. I'll use two hands a second. Pulled the engine cover off, just a little easier to see this. so the turbo wraps around. Down below there you can see the intercooler piping. And it runs around and comes up under the car, comes out right here, and then the intercooler is mounted here. And then it wraps back up, comes out right here, comes around, got a MAF sensor here and into the intake. So I took on a normally aspirated car, this is just a tube that runs down and connects into here for the intake. So, but you want to have the ability to vent the pressure in the turbo. So there's two ways you can do this. You can run and just vent it like I did, which was nice and simple, or I could have done a tube from here and into the catch can. I installed a Mishimoto catch can right here, and that's coming from, so here, this tube right here. You can see that from this tube that goes down to the PCV valve that is located behind the intake, and then it comes out of the oil catch can here and comes around and into where it normally did. And so that way it just filters out a bunch of the crud, and it's worked quite well, keeping things clean. So another thing I did here is the Oem battery sat right here. Just wanted a little more space, so I relocated that to the trunk, and I put my AEM FIC there for engine management. I wired in a breaker on both sides, up front here and back of the battery, to protect everything electrical. And I also installed hood prop rods, hood dampeners, whatever you want to call them. So this is one on each side. These are great because it actually holds the hood up higher, so it gives me more room to work. I don't have the prop rod in the way right here, so I really love that. I just bought some for my Corolla IM also, so I need to install those. And that is the majority of what I've done in under the hood. Oh, one thing I will point out, for the Turbokit, this is an option, but this is a plug and play harness. So this made wiring in the FIC so much easier, because literally that plugs into, and the harness plugs into this and this. It was just clip, and basically it was done. It was just a matter of running a couple other small wires. So that is the majority under the hood. Next thing I'll talk about are my headlights. I ended up installing an HID retrofit. So I took the headlights off, I baked them, I opened them up, I installed an HID projector. I got them from the Retrofit source, and got all my stuff there. It wasn't that difficult. I did a lot of research on it before I did it, as I had never done it before, but they turned out great. I've got a Apollo, I think it's a 2.0 Shroud. They're currently black. First ones I had were chrome, but they're black now. Down here I have the LED lights, the Morimoto LED lights. They're not a bulb, it's a dedicated LED build for it. And I also, up front here, have this little guy just barely sticking out. So that is the nose of electronic deer whistle. I've had the unfortunate luck of hitting 2 different deer with this car, and I've had it repaired both times. So, but luckily everything wasn't too bad, and got her back up and running after replacing the bumper and stuff. So the high beam, so this is a low beam on it. So the high beams, I did install some LED bulbs. I don't remember what they are, but I did do that. And then to finish on the front, it's a case style 1-piece lip to wrap around. I never did like the 2-piece OEM look, so this looks clean. Actually, to me, even looks like it could have come that way. So nice and clean. So I'll talk about wheels, tires, suspension, brakes, stuff like that right now. So currently I'm running the TSW Rivage wheels. They're a nice clean 5-spoke. They're 17 by 8 with 35 offset. I know a lot of people like 18-inch wheels, but I'm a big believer in staying with 17s. If you look at the same size wheel, 18 just weighs more, and the tire sidewall is just a little bit shorter, easier to damage the wheel. It doesn't give you really any major difference in handling. So I've stuck with the 17. I just like, if you look at this wheel, I like wheels that the spokes extend all the way to the lip of the wheel. And that gives the illusion that the wheel's bigger than it really is. So most people actually think I have 18s. That's fine with me. So it gives me the look, but it gives me a little more comfortable ride and a little more protection for the wheel, and they're a little lighter. Not that it would make much of a difference now that I've turbocharged the car. So inside, so I did do a brake upgrade on the front here. So these are slotted EBC rotors, and I put the EBC red stuff pads on. I cover the calipers with some MGP caliper covers. You can kind of custom order those for any color and what that you like. I like these because it does say Corolla S. Adds a little personal flair to it. And it was definitely an upgrade over the OEM braking system. I have since ordered a big brake kit though from Seika Brakes, and so I will be installing that soon for even more power. When I was driving the canyons and mountains, I tend to drive them very aggressively, and I come into some corners nice and hot, and I want as much braking power as I can get to haul it down. So last time I was driving hot and heavy, I just felt like I needed to take the next step up, so that's what I'm going to do. So current tires I have are Michelin. They're 225/45 17s. They're the Pilot Sport All Season 3+s. They've been replaced now by the 4s, AS4s, and I'm sure they're maybe just a touch better, but I love these tires. The second set I've had, they stick like glue on the dry and the wet, but it also allows me to drive it in colder weather, where summer tires you don't really want to drive much below 50, so as the rubber just gets too hard. So that's what I've done to that. The suspension has been upgraded also. Obviously can't really see it, but I'm on BC Coilovers right now, all the way around. I do have it lowered. I'm not a fan of slamming a car. I want performance and the look. This is how I like the look. It's got a nice lowered stance to it, but I can still drive it and drive it fast if I want. So I'm not into driving slow. All right, so that is a recap of what I've done on the wheels, tires, suspension, and brakes. One other thing that I'll talk about brake-wise though is this car came with rear drums. So there's going to be a 2-step phase here that I'm going to be upgrading these. I already have all the parts to do a disc conversion, drum to disc conversion, so I will be doing that. And then once I get that all set and working properly, I'm going to upgrade the rear brakes with a Seika rear brake big brake kit, so to match the front. So that is the big upgrade for this year on this car. Coming soon. So I'll talk about a few things I've done on the outside. I don't like to draw attention. I want to be clean and kind of stealthy look. I like that more. It's more fun just blowing past somebody when they just think you're a regular Corolla than anything else. So we'll go over some of the things I've done. So the windows tinted, one of the first things I ever did, get the windows tinted. I originally had them tinted in Oregon, and at the time I didn't realize it, but the maximum in Oregon is 35%. In Washington I could have done 25%. So I have toyed with the idea of having them redone. I do have a strip across the front, that is 5%. So I have WeatherTech wind visors. So I do have a full clear bra, and the clear bra covers the whole hood. It covers both front fenders, the entire front bumper, and front lip spoiler. So protects all that from any rocks and chips, and protect the paint, keep it looking good. So got a, oh, and it also wraps the back side of the mirrors. So, and the door cups are done, and the side skirts are done too. So my wife made me these, 10th gen, TrDNation.com, which I've been on for well over a decade, ever since I bought this car, and then my local club, Toyota Syndicate Northwest. So on the back side here, this portion comes amber, and so this is simply some red film that I picked up on eBay, cut it out, and then attached it and covered the amber look. I love the clean red look on it much more, and but I love the OEM design. I love how clean it looks. So I'm not a big fan of the Altus LED ones, so this is clean and subtle. So this is the only indicator of what I've done under the hood. Trd badge with a 1.8 liter T for turbo. So this is actually from an Audi. So saw it on eBay and it was perfect. So the Corolla S, this is how it came on the 9th gen Corolla, and I liked it a lot more. I like the look of it. So, but on the 10th gen, the Corolla is over here on this left side. So I took it off and moved it over to the right side for Corolla S. And I also, my third brake light, have a decal that says Corolla S. So when I hit the brakes, that lights up, Corolla S. And I have a personalized plate, so it's One Hot S, because it's a Corolla S. So the only other thing that I've done here is this is a little inlay that's black and red, kind of a 3D halo effect. I would like to find another one. It's kind of faded over the years, but I can't find another one. So, but I do like the way it looks. And to finish the look, I've got to save the manuals, decal, and the tail of the Dragon one, since I've driven this car there twice. Tail of the Dragon is in Tennessee and tips into North Carolina a little bit. Nice fun road. So, but that is basically that. Oh, one thing I will say. So here's the into the exhaust. The exhaust system, which I didn't touch on, I'll touch on that real quick. The exhaust system for the Turbokit is 3-inch stainless steel. It's very pretty looking. Don't see it unless I lift it up, but it does look pretty in the stainless steel. I also bought that from Turbokits, and that came ready to install, and it hung in perfectly, and with a new cat and everything. So from the downpipe back, that is an option for anybody that is thinking about turbocharging their Corolla too. So moving back to the trunk, so I do have an ultra racing rear upper strut brace to tighten up the rear part. I have I think it's a 10-inch, 12-inch. I actually bought this off of a different Corolla owner when he was selling his. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. He had this custom made, and it fits beautifully and blends right in like it was always supposed to be there. So the amplifier is mounted up under the rear deck here, and then I have my battery relocate to the back. So here is the additional breaker. I liked this because the Optima, I could get a bracket which I was able to bolt to the floor, and then this just was held down by 2 brackets on either side. So nice and clean. I don't have to worry about a box because there's no fumes. So the whole rear, the trunk is all dynamatted underneath, and even underneath this I took this off and added dynamat under that cover also, so to prevent any vibration and stuff. So, and then have the cargo net for anything that I want to put in there I don't want rolling around. So that is under the trunk. I'm going to briefly talk about what I've done under the car that I can't show you. I'll try to put a picture in the video so that it does show what I've done. But I've added a 3-point front chassis brace. That's an ultra racing lower front. The car has ultra racing side chassis braces that run the length of the car, right and left, to keep flex that way at a minimum. And on the rear, I have a rear Trd Sway Bar. I upgraded that, the OEM one, to that. And I also have a 19mm ultra racing rear sway bar. They mount completely different, and a rear ultra racing 2-point chassis brace. And I gotta tell you, with the combination of wheels, BC coilovers, and all these chassis braces tightening up the car, it is truly amazing how great it handles. I push this in the mountains and the canyons, and everybody that has been with me when I've pushed it is absolutely amazed at how great it handles. There's very little to no understeer. It is extremely neutral. No matter how fast I've gone through corners and around bends, it really doesn't get upset when I've been going fast. So if you've got one of these Corollas, you don't realize how good the bones of the car are, but they were set up for an economy car. But if you enhance them, it'll blow your mind, absolutely blow your mind at how great this thing handles. So I have more fun and just smile all the time when I'm driving it. Absolutely a great time. One other thing too that I'll add on is that on the brakes, I just thought of this. I did upgrade the brake lines, and the brake lines are stainless steel braided lines now. So I got rid of the OEM rubber ones. and I bled the whole system with DOT 5.1 brake fluid. So not to be mistaken for DOT 5, which is silicone based. This is not. So this is like 3 and 4, but it's even better. So, all right, let's move inside. So I've moved to the inside of the car, and I'll slowly go through things. I do have a dash mat. I love their velour mats instead of just the plastic showing. I like the look of it and the softer part of it. So I put those on all my cars. I do have some gauges for the Turbokit. So there's a boost gauge, air fuel ratio, and oil pressure. I do have an oil temperature gauge too that I want to get installed. I've got this on here. So I do have a scan gauge that I install in all my cars. That's this right here. So, and I got 119,425 miles on mine right now. So, but I like the scan gauge because if I ever do have a code pop up, I can scan it right away, clear it, and just keep going. It also gives me the opportunity to show 4 different parameters through the OBD port of anything that I choose, which is really nice. So, and that is also available to me. I'm a big fan of analog needles. I just like the way they look, and again, they're clean and simple. That's what I prefer. So I love the look of this car. A lot of people don't like the amber look. I do like the amber look. I do a lot of road trips. I do a lot of night driving, and the amber, for me anyway, it's just easy and soft on the eyes at night. So I don't mind the blue. I've got blue lights on my Corolla IM hatch, and they're okay too, but I really do like the amber, and it sets the 2 cars differently, so, which is nice. So on these right here, I can actually change the color to anything I want. So right now, you see 3 different options. So this is blue on the left, this amber, which matches my interior lights, and this is kind of a different shade of blue, kind of almost like an aqua blue. So, but these are glow shift gauges, and I can change them a multitude of colors. So this car, when I bought it new, had, and it came with the Jbl Stereo System in it, which I really wanted. I listened to all 3 of them, the 3 different levels that the car came with, and it sounded just so much better than the 4 and 6 speaker options from the regular stereos. So this has a digital amplifier, and the speakers are much higher quality, and it always sounded great. The downside of it is it didn't have, you couldn't do the navigation with it. So for 10, 12 years, I had a Rosen electronics navigation system, which I love the look. It actually had the dials. It looked more OEM than the OEM did. The OEM nav kind of looked like this, but it was starting to give me some problems, so I went ahead and upgraded. I tried a larger Kenwood that I absolutely loved. It was a floating tablet design, 10-inch. It was awesome. Loved it. The problem is it would squeak like it was, you know, just from vibration, and no matter what we tried, we couldn't get rid of it. So the squeaking drove me nuts. So I went down to a 7-inch that was more secure in it, and this has all the features that had. It's got Garmin navigation, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, and all those things. So, which, if I've got the navigation, I don't really care about as much, but it's cool that it's got both. So down here, I added into one of the blinks, I added in a USB port, which gives me a couple of those. And then on the left side here, this used to be an auxiliary port, and since I didn't need that, I took that out. And this switch is a OEM Toyota fog light switch. I couldn't find it, but I actually use this for turning on and off my deer whistle. So you don't hear it when you're driving if I I'll turn it on. You can hear it when I'm still here. Yeah, it's just kind of it sounds like a faint beep, so I don't know how the phone will pick that up, but so when I'm driving, I don't hear it, which is great, and it seems to work beautifully. So looking around the interior, this car came with it's an S model, so it has the little nicer seats. I love the fabric. I am not a fan of leather, so I was really glad it didn't come with leather. Leather seats, you just slip around a lot more. So here's the tweeters for the JBL system. So, and then down below, I've got currently some 3D Max Spider floor liners. These are awesome. They're a lot nicer than the WeatherTech mats. They're liners, and they're less money. So these things are beautiful. My daughter recently bought a 2009 Corolla S, and we put a set in there also. And I've got four cars with these mats in them now, and they're absolutely beautiful. I got a set for all three of my daughters for Christmas for them for their other vehicles. This one also, because it had the JBL, most of the Corollas had this, where you had your volume controls and where you can skip songs and whatnot and select modes. This one also has the phone buttons here. Although, even though it's got it, half the time I reach for that anyway, for the head unit, just force a habit. So, I do like, though, that this car has a leather-wrapped steering wheel. A lot of the Corollas don't have that, the lower trim levels. And even the S's later on switch to just the rubberized one. So, I feel bad for those owners, because the leather-wrapped steering wheel just feels magnificent. So, I put this little TRD emblem there. It's really, I always like it, and it just kind of looks cool there. I do have a short shift kit in this. I just blanked out. TWM short shift kit. Unfortunately, they're not in business anymore because they made great products. The shifter itself, the shift knob, is actually from a Ford Mustang. And it fit beautifully, and it actually looks great in the car. The silver kind of goes in with the silver trim here, so I like that too. It feels good. It's just a really perfect fit for that. So down below, I put genuine Toyota pedals on. So I popped off the OEM rubber ones, and these popped right on in their place. So I love the look of those, and they have a Toyota logo on them also. And I do also have a dash cam. So this is a Rexing model, and then I've got a mount here that I can mount a GoPro to if I want to. So I did put LED bulbs in all the interior lights and upgraded all of those. So, and the only other thing that I've done here that I'll point out of the car, so, is I also installed some brackets here that are from Extend My Seat, and they actually give me up to 4 inches more leg room. So the passenger seat is all the way back, and that's as far back as the driver's seat would go too. But now you can see how much more, there we go, all the way back, how much more. And I don't need all that. I'm 6'2", but it's great to have it. So if I just want to relax and sleep or whatever, then I can do that. So, and then there's a little flashing light there for the alarm system, and I believe that pretty much covers the interior. So I think I've got most of the stuff that I've done to this. If I think of something, I will. Oh, one other thing, I just thought of it. So I did upgrade my stock. It didn't come with the variable intermittent right here. So I swapped out the stock, which I know a lot of people have done, and I live in Washington State, so we get plenty of rain, so it's nice having that variability. And oh, and also on the 2009, now this is not something I did, but they got rid of it later. So I love these little cubby holes right here for something. And on the passenger side, there's actually a hook, so you can hook a plastic bag or something like that to it, and it's not your stuff that you just bought aren't sliding all over the place. So that's a nice touch too. And also mine's a 2009, so they came with black armrests and the plastic there, and the 2010 switched to silver, which I never did like. The door handles, the pulls are silver, but that's it. So I like the black interior because it's just kind of disappears and stuff. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, if you've got any questions for me on what I've done, or if I missed something, I'll try to make mention of it, and we'll go from there. So appreciate you hanging out with me while I showed you everything about my 2009 Corolla S Turbo. So take care, guys. Appreciate it. If you like everything, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.